Laugh. Yo. Welcome to another Highdeas Video Podcast with yours, truly the Hefe Hippie, and my amazing guest today, Miss Tiffy Inks. How are you
I'm doing
doing?
good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's awesome. It's
Yes.
good to see you. Happy to have you on today. I know you have a busy schedule over there. Creating
Some
your
like,
work,
some like.
creating your work. I'm curious, how long have you been drawing?
So I kind of started when I was like in the third grade, but I didn't really like take it serious till maybe sometime in middle school. I started like drawing out of the Washington Post, the comic book section that they would have. Like I started with Garfield, what was it, Baby Blues and Beetle Bailey. And
Right.
then after that, I started moving into like the Looney Tunes characters, Tom and Jerry. Taz was like my go-to person at all times. And then I became obsessed with Scooby Doo, still obsessed with Scooby Doo from time
Mm-hmm.
to time. And then after that, I kind of just still took it as like that random kid that be drawing in class, and they be like, "All
Mm-hmm.
right, you need to do like your work." But I'm like, "But my work is done. I'm bored. Like I'll be sitting there randomly doodling on the side of the paper just because." And then after that, like it's for right now, it's amazing how I've taken the time to really like go over my work, where I look at some of my stuff from a long time ago and I'm like, oh man, like I used to draw like that, but noticing now the difference each year, it changes where my
Right.
work is becoming, much cleaner. And I'm always trying to like, my mind constantly is running
Right.
on new ideas of whatever is working. So I have to literally like write these things down so I don't forget. And then sometimes I don't even go back to it. Sometimes I might just think of something else and level up from there.
Right. Did you have a favorite cartoon or a character coming up, growing up, or did you
Uh,
just?
Growing up has been Scooby Doo.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was obsessed with Arthur for a while.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
Arthur was the show back in the
yeah,
day.
it definitely was. I'm sorry, but I adored DW and
Right.
all of that sass, and a little bit of Muffy, a little bit of her attitude. But I guess it's kind of like she kind of has an attitude where people are kind of afraid to step to her, but she's not afraid to speak her mind a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Were you a comic book fan?
Not necessarily. No, I've been obsessed with Harley Quinn for a
Mm-hmm.
while. I actually met the woman who wrote her comic books at
Oh, that's cool.
the not the DC Comic Con, but they had a Comic Con here in North Carolina, and
Okay.
I had a chance to actually meet her. She's very, very sweet, very she has a very soft voice. And so I
To
always just
write such a
ask.
character.
I know it doesn't even like go with anything that she writes about, but she was really nice to me. I'm still obsessed with Harley Quinn to this day, and although I'm still not as heavy with Scooby Doo, and I'm pretty sure Arthur may or may not still be around. I'm not even sure anymore,
I think
but
so.
it still weighs on me a little bit.
All right. Cause I see your artwork
Hmm.
and I'm curious, like, are you interested in illustrating and your own type of comic? You're like there's so many people that take the mantle of say like Fantastic Four or continue those stories through Marvel.
Hmm.
Why can't you? Your artwork is just as good as what they can do.
Right. It's weird because I guess in a sense I almost don't want to fall into that category where it's like almost every artist that I've known, like the longer they do it, the more they kind of push themselves into the comic book world, and at the same time they almost in a sense lose what got them started in the first place.
Right.
I did at one point wrote a small comic back in high school called Ghetto Babies. I don't know why. Totally based off of nothing whatsoever, just two random babies living in the projects. And I was just like, I thought about taking this even further, but then for some reason, I guess I went to like a whole artist phase block, and I was just like, I
Mhm.
never came back to it. As of now, I think I do want to get a little bit into character development. A lot of my friends, including the person who actually did the design for my first OC character, he does it himself. Like he has his own comic books. He also, writes a couple of his own illustrations, which I actually have a copy now, which he's actually working on book two, which I'm
Okay.
excited about. And I kind of want to get slowly on just learning like body wise, learning to have like a small little development stories for certain characters, starting with mine, of course. But then at the same time, it's like I kind of want to eventually build from that, where I want to get into more of the other characters that play a part of my original character.
Right. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a comic book. You know, it can be an actual, like book, because
Yeah.
it's like this character, the one that's behind me. What's going on with Miss Iris, man? I
Yes.
mean,
So
are you going to tell people about that? Is that still in the wraps?
no, I will be working with her. I guess once I have the show I have coming up in May, once that kind of like dies down, I slowly want to move forward into more people learning about who Iris is. But I do want to clarify who she is. First of all, she is definitely a villain. She's not a hero. She's definitely she's a trained assassin. The smallest bio that I can give for right now is she was trained by her ex, who actually works for the company that she works for now. It's called MIA, which I'm still working on trying to figure out what MIA will stand for. A lot of her contracts are done via a phone. She doesn't really choose. She chooses not to have a gun. Her choice of weapons are knives. Her earrings are also a weapon as well.
Okay.
And then the way that she so when she goes to work, like her glasses that she wears, those are also thermal heat as well. She can also track bodies, but that's also how she communicates to the motherboard person who tells her where her next hit is going to be. Most of her contacts do take place overseas.
Okay.
But her day job, she actually is a part assistant librarian.
Okay.
So she's very knowledgeable as far as, areas, locations. If you want to know where the best place you want to eat, where is the best place you think you should take a vacation, she can give you all the information whatsoever.
Right. Who came up with the design? I love the design.
So my friend Lamar Wells, if you want to, you can follow him on. He has an Instagram as Mr. Dramatic, literally spelled just like that as is. So as far as like the color concept was my idea. I definitely wanted to keep her with the short hair earring style. But as far as everything else, like the placement of her body wise, everything, I left that to be his per se. But for me, I definitely wanted to be sure that she kind of looks more less what's the right word for it, less superhero, more villain, but at the same time not look too combat,
Right.
but give her more of a slick look. So he definitely nailed it perfectly for me, so I couldn't invest. And then now from there I can definitely like move on from there and start making like small little random panels, I guess, with her,
Right.
so that way people can understand like, okay, well, how does her job work in details.
So you said a show that you got coming up. Is this only in North Carolina? Are you doing any shows coming this way, or is this solely for
So
North
this
Carolina?
one, the Black Girl Art Show, is actually in Atlanta. They're doing
Oh,
2 days this year. So this will be my second time. I did it last year in December, and they only had it for just one day. They did it on Sunday. But I guess since they had such more of a huge turnout, they decided that this year they're gonna make it 2 days. But to get the option. So for me, I chose to only just do the Saturday event. And I'm hoping that there's going to be, I guess more people are starting to get vaccinated and slowly but surely things starting to open up. There will hopefully start to be more art exhibitions that's going to be taking place, hopefully in North Carolina, and then hopefully if I get a chance to come back to the DMV. If they have anything, of course,
Of
I will
course, of course, of course,
definitely.
I will be there.
Yes, I will absolutely be letting the world know that y'all, I'm coming back home. I got a show. I at some point am contemplating on whether if I should go ahead and maybe do like my own solo exhibition. But the only thing about it is trying to figure out location. Like, should I do it here in North Carolina or should I just go back home? But I feel like even if
Right,
I go back home, either way, people gonna have to travel.
right, right. What is your process of how when you're drawing? Like, what do how do you start these magnificent pictures, man? Like, you know, let's see, like this one. Okay, you
Okay.
got, it starts here in a
Mm-hmm.
sense, it finishes. What process, man? Because it seems like it takes hours and
Yeah. So
days.
with painting, I actually just taught myself how to paint. So this is now going on year 3. that I've been painting. I've always been illustration and markers has always been like my first love. And then I started getting into digital about 2 years ago. But with painting, that's like, it's like yoga. You have to have patience with it. It's definitely not something that is built overnight. You will learn a love-hate relationship with certain colors that you will be using. Some requires multiple, like 5, 6, 7, 8 layers. Others might just need maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe just 1. But the way that I process it is, at first, I take whatever image. Usually some of my clients, they'll send me photos of what they want. And sometimes they want me to tweak it, where that might be changing the color, change the body position. And from there, I'll just take, whatever's on my sketch, and I'll sketch it out first with either pencil, or lately I've been using color pencils, simply because it's easier for me to paint over and you can't necessarily see the lines. Then once that happens, then it's just a matter of trying to make sure the colors match, learning the shading, the lighting, which I'm still learning how to do that, because it's so annoying to get through it. And it definitely takes a lot, but it just depends on the size of the canvas. Some of it I can actually finish in a day. Others, like on the weekends, it might take 2 or 3 days. Like my Bart Simpson, that one took me 3 days of unfinished work. Me not having to do anything else. So that was definitely a doozy, but it would have been done quicker. I didn't have to do the whole time lapse to make it for my YouTube page. But I probably would have finished it in 1 day, technically. And that's, so far, that is the biggest piece I have done so far as a 36 by 48. Before then I did like 30 by 40, and then like the smallest I've done was like an 8 by 12.
So you have a YouTube page?
Yes, I do. So my YouTube page, I'll send you a link for it, is Beatrix Kiddo, with the number 3. And for that one, I just uploaded the full video of the entire process of me painting that Bart Simpson from start to finish. And that was definitely like the hardest thing to make the edits for.
Okay, I'm just going to toss this up. Let me know if it's spelled wrong, but is that what is it something like that, or is it?
No, that's not it. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, please send it to me so I can throw it on there. I did see on your page you do yoga, which is, I heard. Well, I saw you standing on your head. Is that what's that? Where'd that come from?
So it started as a handstand challenge. One of my former colleagues, she kind of started doing it on a month, like she put up a monthly challenge, and so like every day during that month of November, we basically had to like try to position that. And for that, it also taught me like I really do not have that much upper body strength, and that's sad. As much as I go to the gym, but I know when I go to the gym, I almost don't really try to like focus so much on upper body, mainly because I feel like I don't want to look buffy as like a female. But then after that, like once that challenge got over, like I kind of kept wanting getting back into it, because I felt like you got to have like a solid core to move forward into doing it, and that teaches me patience too. I probably will actually end up going back and taking actually real yoga classes, just because for the sake of it, I realize that I have very little patience when it comes to doing certain things, whether it comes to art or just things in general. Right. And I've noticed that when I started doing certain yoga techniques, even just practicing breathing techniques just on a regular basis, I've noticed that my mood has definitely been much more stabilized. So I'm like, okay, I can work with this for right now and see how long it lasts.
All right. Well, excuse me. Are you a fan of anime? Because I see a lot of your pictures, or do you just like drawing anime?
I am. I used to be a big Dragon Ball Z fan, but I kind of stopped watching. It's been like a while. I probably say, don't judge me on this, but I stopped watching it after all the Dragon Balls were caught. But currently, right now, I am a huge Demon Slayer fan. Okay. I've started watching a little bit of My Hero Academia, and then just yesterday I started getting into One Punch Man.
I've heard of all of these. I'm just a Dragon Ball Z guy for real, for real.
Yeah, lately I don't know. I'm not sure why I always liked Majin Buu for a while. A couple of my closest friends, they're huge Trunks Vegeta fans all the way. Right. So it's like one of those weird conversations that actually I have like a few more Dragon Ball Z concepts that I'm bringing to works that I'm actually really looking forward to. So I can't wait to see how that's going to come out, but I can't like necessarily announce that just yet. But just
Can you
like
can we
wait
see
for
this?
it.
Hold on, it's too
Is
bright.
that? Oh, is that the Vegeta?
It's the Vegeta one. Yeah, it's so
Oh,
bright. I can't even get it on the screen.
I know the only thing that kills me now with some of these Dragon Balls, like they transform way too much for me. I'm like, you got the super and then you got the dark. I said, see, this is way too much for me to catch up on.
All
So
right.
I'm trying to think. But yeah.
I love your paintings, man, your pictures and everything.
Thank you.
I don't hold on. This is one of my favorite characters out right now. I
Oh,
really
Bob's
enjoy.
Burgers. Yes, actually, my
Yeah.
illustration in the back is the Bob's Burgers. It is my largest illustration piece I've done so far. All markers. It is 18 by 24. But that was actually my birthday gift to myself last year.
Okay.
So I tell myself every year that I will try to level up as far as going larger. So this year alone for my birthday, this one will be for all of my 80s, my 90s babies.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a 24 by 36. I cannot disclose what that will be just yet, but just know I have to start it in September in order for me to have it done by December 30th.
Okay.
So we're
That's you have enough. That sounds like enough time to get it done.
yeah, all
Most
markers.
certainly.
So I'm expecting I need that time frame. So that's it. I'm like, I think after that one I probably won't work on something that big. I'll probably start trying to level up and go bigger with painting wise, yes, but definitely not for
Okay.
illustration.
What do you have planned for the rest of this year? I mean, it's been a down year last year, so everybody
Ooh,
trying to get back to normal.
definitely was. Yeah, because last year it was crazy. Because even with me, I work, so doing this is like a side hustle. This is my after work on certain weekends. I just paint where I do stuff for clients. For this year, I probably might do less shows, and I probably want to focus on putting out produce more work.
Hmm.
Definitely keep trying to build up more of my clientele. I want to say last year, I think since the pandemic started, that's where the clientele's really started happening even more. Even after I moved down to North Carolina, I started to know it because like now I have clients from the West Coast. I have some down in Florida. I have in Georgia, and even further up like New York, Detroit, and it's amazing to see that happen. And I think for me, the more clientele I build, the more I might hear about, other future dates. Or even
Right,
for me, I might end up having to travel to another state to attend a whole nother show. And even for
right,
me, I
right.
will, I'll do that even more. But I definitely want to focus more on putting out my work, whether it's paintings, drawings, or some of my digital work. I do want to study some more for like anatomy wise, body positions, because definitely as I'm going to have to start eventually character development, all of that's going to have to tie
Hmm.
into that. And I kind of want to start leaning a little bit into more pop art
Hmm.
with my characters because I'm always been a huge Andy Warhol fan. Roy, I can never pronounce his last name. It's like Lynchen. It's either Lynchenson or Lychinson, but I like the bright, vibrant colors. I love like the neons, all of that. So I feel like I want to move more of my work in that, especially if I want to start eventually getting into putting my works in like galleries.
Hmm.
That's definitely the direction that I want to move into.
So you're gonna be doing some Van Gogh, some
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Exactly. Van Gogh, definitely get into like more like I like some video game character ones. I did see a really dope Super Mario Bros that someone on my Instagram did, and I wish I remembered his name, but he's like in Switzerland, but
Mm.
it's like it's like three bright fluorescent colors, but it's really it's like on these little tiny 6 by 6 square grid canvases, and he just makes them all into forming actually one giant mushroom head. And I'm like, that is
Wow.
too dope. So that for me, that's something that I'm like, dang, I want to get into that.
All
So
right.
yeah.
You ever get to collaborate with other artists, or do you just like gain like inspiration from what you see? Or
Um, I'm actually going to be working on collaborating with some of my friends in my art club. A lot of them are like based up north. So right now we're in that beginning phase where we're trying to figure out specifically which genre that we're even going to end up doing. I also have one of my other homeboys. His name is Anthony. He's Fenty artist. He's also on my Instagram. I repost him a lot of his work. He and I will be working this year on. We're trying to decide whether if we're going to make it either as a painting or as a drawing. Probably, I guess, as a drawing since it'll be easier to ship back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm looking forward to. That one I think we've decided between either Dexter's Laboratory or Ed and Eddie
Okay.
piece. So for that, we're still like going through that work. So we're trying to figure out one our time frame because both of us, like I said, we're very busy artists, and so for
Right.
him, I know that he also has shows coming up. So it's like trying to find that good time. But I think 9 times out of 10 during the summer is going to happen.
Okay. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing what you
Yes.
got. Are these like, I looked through your page, so I had seen some things, right?
Uh-huh.
So are you getting into modeling or something? Like what's
No.
what's going on? Are we
No.
transitioning, or is there a second career that we need to be
No.
talking about?
Nope. Me, my
No?
no, sir,
None,
Bob.
because I mean,
It's something that lately I've just started doing as a confidence boost. Where it's
okay.
this whole dressy Thursday thing. Me and my boss actually, I think one day we both just one day happened to be wearing dresses at the same time. We just looked nice, and then we did it again the same time on Thursday. She was like, "So wait, is this a thing now?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know, but I guess." I'm like, "We can make it a thing. Like tomorrow is Thursday, but she's not going to be in the office, but I will be." But I'm just like, after a while, it gets tiring because then I'm like, dang, I have way too many clothes to begin with. But it's just like, do I really feel like keep going around and posting this?
Right.
But for like now, it's just something fun to do. That's just it. It's just a random small trend. It comes and goes. I might be good with it for like 2 months, and after that, I'll stop. And people be like, wait, what happened to Dressy Thursdays? Like, you just stop automatically. I'm like,
right.
Oh, my bad. I didn't think y'all really be like that into it. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I hear you got your R&B back there. Sound like
Yeah.
I
So
don't
when
know,
I'm like
Kelly
doing
Rowland.
work, when I do work, I have my slow jams playlist. That'll go like on my TV, but it fluctuates because sometimes if I'm doing work for myself, then I might have my workout playlist playing, or I might just have what I call my vibe out, which is a mixture of both R&B and hip hop music. There might be some country you might hear in there. You might hear a little bit of jazz, some country. I'm like a real versatile person. I prefer R&B music regardless over any genre, but I'm definitely stuck more so in like the 90s 2000 era. I feel like that was always good for me. I feel like that's always gonna be the best music compared to what's being played out now, but
Right.
it's what it is.
Who are some of your favorite artists? That's out.
Currently I do like Kiana Lede. Who else? Her, of course, SZA. I wish Kendrick Lamar came back. I do.
Yeah, what happened to him?
He retired. I'm like, bro, you can't just be doing this. J. Cole need to come on. He needs to stop teaching at Harvard and go ahead and drop more music. You can't just drop 3 singles and then just be all. Like, no, we need more. Schoolboy Q, huge Big Crit fan. I used to like Lil Wayne, but I don't like Lil Wayne no more now. He's washed. An artist that actually started to grow on me, which for a while I could not stand his voice, was 2 Chainz. Of course, old school, Faith Evans, Mary J. Blige, Escape 702. Those are, I still listen to them now. Jagged Edge, the R&B people, Drew Hill. Of course, just recently they had the verses, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Isley Brothers. Oh my gosh, that was insanely insane.
They had the verses between who?
It was the Isley Brothers versus Earth, Wind, and Fire. That was like
what? My mom would have lost her mind if she knew Earth, Wind, and Fire was on there.
Ron Isley did. Everybody was like freaking out because they're like, "Wait, who is this character with this gray beard?" But then after they realized that's Ron. I'm like, "Ain't no way Ron looked that good."
That was Ron. He could probably still blow too.
Yeah, he still has it. Like they were still.
He got that voice.
Yeah,
he just has that little that high pitch.
Yes, He has not changed, and he looks good though. I was like, "Oh, quarantine's been doing you just
Oh, I
fine."
gotta check that
So
out. I gotta
yeah,
try
they
to.
definitely they just had. I think it was it Sunday, either Sunday or Monday,
But
one of the two.
my mom must not have known because her favorite, he passed away. What's his name? Maurice White. That was her.
Okay.
She loved her some Maurice White, but Earth,
Yeah,
Wind, and
Earth, Wind,
Fire,
Fire, they still
man.
kicking it, and I was just like, my goodness. But they all
All
just
right.
looked unbothered. They looked healthy for the most part, but
They
it was
should be unbothered. Old money,
yeah. They just sitting back
reunion
chilling,
tours.
making money off of other artists who sampling their work.
Basically, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave you with this. What's some of the TV shows you watch? Like,
Lately, right now, currently, I'm watching Good Girls. It's just like the most hilarious. It's stupid but hilarious to me.
Good girls.
Snowfall. I've just started liking it. My sister has been like egging me to watch it for a good while, so I'm like all caught up now. I just watched the recent episode yesterday. I'm
All right.
still a little bit butthurt about my man Fatback, but
See, I haven't seen none of it. So,
oh come on, you got it. You gotta watch it.
oh, now look at you. Now you
Ah,
try.
I'm still a Law and Order SVU person. I didn't get a chance to watch the latest episode, but say we're coming back.
Yeah, neither did I. And I got to see that. I stopped watching when he left. So when he
Yeah,
came back, I
I
got to watch
definitely. It was a good. I was like, yeah, it's a no for me. Once
it.
he was
Yeah,
gone, it's
I
not the
love
same.
Stabler, dog. Come on, you can't take
Mm-hmm.
Stabler out of the jump.
No, who else? 911, Lone Star, The Good Doctor. I actually like watching. It's really good.
Mhm.
I'm also into like the weird criminal shows, Criminal Minds, of course, NCIS. What's else I started watching? The Rookie
Mm.
is quirky, but for some reason I keep watching it, and I can't. I want to like stop watching it, but I can't because I'm just like I don't know what it is where I'm drawn to it. But it's like watching like who wants to see a man who probably should have been retired in the police force going back to join the police academy. I'm just like this is too much.
Well, Tiff, I appreciate you and
But
your
of course,
time for coming on. This is where you can find on Facebook, Tiffy Inks. You guys shoot me your YouTube link so I
I
can.
just sent you the
You
link
did?
to the latest video, the one I
Okay.
just posted.
Okay, I got you. So I'll put that down in the comments for everybody.
Okay,
But thank you again for coming on.
of course.
Your artwork is awesome. I always, when I see it, I definitely check you out, man. And I can only see continued success for you. And
Thank
I
you.
wish the best for you and everything you're doing.
Definitely
And you
appreciate it.
have a great evening. Hopefully I get you back on here at some point in time. But
Of
maybe
course,
you might be
just let me
too
know.
big for me. Then, you
Just
might
let me
be.
know. I'm like people say I'm always busy, but I make time.
Well, thank you for making time for me. And once again, you have a great evening.
You too.
Have a good night. All right, guys. Well, that was Tiffy Inks. You can check her out on Facebook, Tiffy Inks, on IG at the same, Tiffy Inks. Great artwork. I love it. These are some of her old drawings and things from Iron Weasel, I Real Monsters. I actually just bought some socks for I Real Monsters today, so that was actually a great shout. So yeah, check her out, man. Support, support, support. She's from the DMV, but she's out in North Carolina. And y'all have a great afternoon. I'll be back with the Hef